We interrupt this program with a special report.
I got a message for all you folks out there in Radio Land. So sit tight and bend an ear.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Manga Monday Show. My name's Edgar. I have
one and only one. One.
one and only Ben. We got a Ben here. Yeah.
There's actually quite a lot of Bens that I know.
Yeah, but you're the only one that I care about. So. Other than Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah. Benjamin Button.
Yeah, but he's not real.
Neither
is Franklin.
Actor? Who's another actor named Ben? There's another one.
Ben Kingsley?
No, there's somebody else. I don't know, but I know he's a good actor.
Ben Affleck?
You know,
Ben Shapiro? Ben
no.
Stiller? Ben Shapiro?
Did you just say Ben Shapiro twice as when I talked about actors?
Ben Platt?
Yeah. Oh, ew. Let's keep moving forward.
I was like, all right. My name's Edgar. I already said that.
Yeah.
This is Manga Monday Show, everybody.
Yeah,
welcome back. We got a lot of news, a lot of big stuff have happened. I don't know if you're like caught up to date.
It's surprised that I knew that Edgar was gonna have a lot of news, but I checked the news and I was like, either this is so obvious, like they know about it already, or it just like it doesn't matter. So
yeah.
I didn't do much, but also Edgar gets his news sources from a different source, which is what I like because I get them from more mainline.
Yeah.
You get them from more like the under alleyways of
I have a dark web of like information.
Yeah. Edgar knows people.
I
don't know
a
people.
guy. Like,
I know Anime News Network.
Dude, you get the official. You know the actual people. I just know the sketchy. Like, ooh, I heard about this.
No, that's still good. We still need those. So, Go. Well, Edgar, how was your week? How's everything been going?
It's been going good. Really slow. I've been finishing and catching up on the fall season not the fall season, the summer season, the late summer anime season that's been coming up. Lycrasis, Recoil, really good. Call of the Night, really good. Both fire. I have like 1 or 2 episodes left. And then obviously like I'm finishing those while I'm like, trying to like watch all this new anime season from like the fall coming out, which is a lot. I finished Better Call Saul. I'm pretty sure I told you about it.
Yes.
Really good.
Very good.
Like really, really good. I'm just like, how do you like make a prequel like that good? Usually prequels just don't work out, or sequels.
Yeah.
And then like 2 shows, like all in all, like 100% like perfect. Like really impressed. I hope they win this Emmy season.
Stop.
Ben's pulling the mic away from me.
Yeah, just a little bit. There you go.
I don't think.
No.
No, it's a habit.
I just got a little bit of. I was listening to the Manga Monday show on my way to work, and I was listening to myself, and I was like, "Oh, I sound a little bit quiet here. I'm gonna turn myself up." And then Edgar went in and went, "Duh!" And I was like, "Ah, my ear."
Yeah, usually it's like Ben's like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, anyway, guys.
Yeah. Well, and we'll get to a point where we buy similar microphones. Either I buy the same Rode that Edgar has, or Edgar buys the Azure SM7B.
Yeah, I like the ways yours sounds, but for some reason mine's just louder.
Yours is it's not louder. Yours is also more like you told me about this earlier. Like yours is more crisp. Yours is very much a microphone that you use for recording voiceover, for recording, hype videos. Like if you're doing like, welcome back to my video, everybody. It's very much. Whereas the Shure SM7B, it's why you listen to it. Like you told me in the first couple of weeks, you were like, oh, why does my voice sound so nasally and yours sounds so?
It's hot. It's a hot microphone. Yours is like warm and rounded.
Yeah,
like
the Shure SM7B is all about
bass.
Is about bassening that tone and making it sound nice to listen to. So most likely the reason why you think that is because you're like, oh, your microphone is so sharp that it's like it has the adverse effect of the Shure SM7B.
Yeah.
So if we get one of those, I'm sure you'll listen to it and you'll be like, oh, hello.
Such a difference.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But other than that, other than the stuff that we're about to talk about in this episode with all the shows and whatnot, pretty much the same. I'm about to start editing the Assassin's Hunter. I feel like in anticipation before this contest, I'm just gonna jump the gun and start editing the hell out of it. That way, as soon as like whatever the results are, I start sending it to publishers.
Yeah.
And just start saying like, hey, I have a story. Might be garbage, but check it out. And if it gets picked up, who knows? Or just try to find like a publishing company who like willing to take me in. But that's all pretty good. I'm super excited about that. What about you, Ben? What have you been up to?
Basically, I've just been working on a show recently.
What show?
It's a small show, Much Ado About Nothing. We're
Ooh,
doing
another
it,
Shakespeare.
Yeah, another Shakespeare. It's with a company called Shakespeare Everywhere. We just perform it
Everywhere.
Kinda. We're performing it at bars around Dallas. So every
nice.
2 Mondays. So we're also if we forget our lines, we can ask for line, and then the whole audience goes yay and cheers, and they take a swig of their drink.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun times, and
better
there are a
know
lot
your
of
lines,
great
otherwise
people.
everyone's gonna get rowdy and like drunk.
Exactly.
Like,
Well, I can't. I'm such a worrywart about that stuff, so I memorize all my lines, and also like I've been taught to memorize my lines word for word. It is kind of a curse that I have.
you had no idea. You
sometimes-
never want to be that guy. Never want to be the guy who doesn't know the lines. Like, it's so awkward. It happened to me once, and I never did it again because it was so bad. And sometimes like it's always one person. One person always manages to be that person. I mean, whether they mean to or not, and it's just like the worst feeling. You feel like. Yeah, like you're like disabled and everyone like is looking at you like, oh, you still have your papers in front of you while the rest of us don't.
No, yeah, definitely.
It's like all the attention's on you, like.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm a very, very good memorizer. Shakespeare is harder than normal speech because normal speech has words or stuff like modern.
We use words.
We
they
use
don't.
words. Shakespeare doesn't.
They speak in riddles.
Yeah, they speak in riddles. I mean, kinda. But modern plays, they have words that really sting the tongue. Like they use cuss words, they use words that you can relate with, and therefore it's easier to memorize. Whereas Shakespeare, unless it's something like, well, this is one of my lines, pure in piety and in pious purity, like you don't really like that stuff you memorize. But when it's comes not that blood is modest evidence to witness simple virtue, that took me 2 days to memorize that one line, So that is what it is. That's what I'm doing right now, and that's my main focus. Other than that, I am drawing my one-shot, Deadlocked. This one is going much faster than the last one. But what I've been doing this week is I've been, what you just said, looking at publishers that have publishers in America that have connections to Japan, so that it's like I can work with them first, and then I can go, because I think the idea is to start in America, get a way of working, so that when I have the opportunity, or if I ever get the opportunity to work, because it's one of my dreams to work with Shonen Jump, but I don't want to work with Shonen Jump in a way that, how do I put this lightly? Makes me die early,
adds extra years, like takes off years off.
Yeah,
life, like,
exactly. Like I don't want to have underlying health problems. So, I want to work with a group of people. I want to work with a team of people. I want to work with like one head writer and then 2 additional writers, or 2 head writers and 1 additional writer, and then like 6 or 7 people drawing, So like I
chill in the back sipping my Coke, like hot chocolate. I do nothing. Like,
yeah, exactly. I watch them as they do the stuff, But it's very similar to how Miura, who does Berserk, did it. He has a whole company working on Berserk, and that's how he made his manga look so great.
Even the small ones, even the small ones where you think like only one person could do this, you'd be surprised. Like they'll always have like at least one or 2 people like helping them out, because that's just the way it is. Like,
definitely.
But yeah, it's really.
So yeah, that's
really,
it. That's
cool,
it,
man.
Yeah.
Is it easier? Like, you feel like improving your skill, like as a artist?
I mean, definitely. I mean, right now I'm just drawing the one shot, and what I'm gonna do is the main one that I'm looking at to reach out to is Dark Horse. I love their aesthetic.
Nice.
I love the way that they do things.
They did Mob Psycho and Berserk.
Yeah,
along
Berserk.
with many other things.
So
American
many.
comics too, like
Yeah.
the English comics.
They didn't do it. They're just the English publishers.
No, yeah,
but
they're not the
still,
writers,
you know.
but they're they're
Yeah.
distributors and all
But
that.
they do have. I think they have a solo story that is just Dark Horse with the author of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He created his
Nice.
own little story. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's great. And of course they created the Avatar comics, the Witcher comics, all of the Star Wars comics go through them, you know. Well, not anymore because Star Wars was bought by Disney. Now it goes through Marvel. So
Oh, I see.
yeah, but that's really something I'm really interested in. And what they make you do is they make you send in 6 drawings. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take 6 entire pages that I really, really like from that one shot that I'm making. And then I'm going to draw 3 concept ideas. And I already have really, really great ideas for them, like pivotal moments in the story and stuff like that, and places and all that thing, all those things.
That's cool.
December, Edgar. I mean, you don't have to. I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
December, I want to start working on our idea for Psycho Line.
Hey, yeah, I remember that.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. When I'm going to send in 5 stories, and that's going to be one of them. And it might be like, if I send that in, I might just put in also in the other stories. Oh yeah, Edgar worked on this too. Like, you know, just to be like, just to draw him in. But you know, so yeah, that's what I'm doing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because I'm excited for that, and we'll talk about the other one that I'm gonna write in between when we get there. But yeah, Edgar, House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon.
D.
What's the last one we talked about on
Episode
the podcast?
4.
Episode
was the last
4?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just double check just to make sure we got it, all of it correct. I know the one that came out this week. I don't know the title of it, but it is the one
This
on the
was
funeral.
this one was called Driftmark.
Driftmark.
The one that came out last night we have not seen yet.
Oh yes.
So
Yeah, we're recording literally the Sunday for this week.
Yes.
You know, so just we're gonna be watching it later today. But for those of you listening or watching, you know, you'll have clearly have already seen it.
Yeah, this episode was called Driftmark. The episode before that was the Princess and the Queen. That was the episode, and then the one before that was We Light the Way. And that was the one where Joffrey gets beaten at the wedding. We might have talked about that one.
Yeah, we did talk about that. The last
Yeah.
episode we talked about was episode 5.
Yes, episode 5.
So we missed out on. So this
we
one
missed out on Daddy Strong, on Sir Kristen Cole getting beat up by Daddy Strong.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
we were talking about the Princess and the Queen,
Yeah.
episode 6, and then Driftmark, episode 7.
Yeah.
So what happens? I remember what happens. It deals. We focus on Damon a little bit with his new wife.
Yes.
Lena.
So there's 3, of course, different things going on with the kind of leading characters of the series, which is Alicent, Rhaenyra, and Daemon. In my opinion, those are the 3 biggest, at least so far. I think the standout have been Viserys and Otto. But
Yeah,
those
they're really good.
Yeah, those 3 are the main ones of especially this episode. So Rhaenyra at this point, she's kind of dealing with this stuff that, of course, we start the episode. She just had a baby, and complete visceral, right? Just
Always
absolutely-
is. They really focus hammer in on hey, pregnancy kills you.
so
like,
hard to watch, man.
Yeah,
especially as Lauren watches it and she's deadpan, and she's like, oh yeah, that wasn't that hard to watch, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, that's the hardest thing for me to watch, dude. Like
I'm a man and I'm struggling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I really like about it, and what Game of Thrones is really good at doing, is these one shots, these one takes that span over a long period of time. And the actress talked about that at the end of the episode, where she said that was all one take from the beginning of the episode to when she sees Alicent in the room, you know? So she was she did that take 20 times, and she was they went with the final take because she felt the exhaustion of childbirth on that 20th take, which is so crazy, you know? But what also is big is what Game of Thrones is really well known for, and what they did with the episode Second Sons, which was the second or third episode.
Second in his name.
Second of his name, yeah.
Episode 3.
Yes, when Daemon faced off against the crab feeder.
Yeah.
What they do in those like war battle shots, it's like these one takes where you just follow him and it makes it feel like it's chaotic and stuff. Like Battle of the Bastards had a really good one where like Jon Snow was like dodging all these arrows and stuff, and he was like, "Ugh!"
Probably the most like the most remembered action scene in Game of Thrones. Like.
I love that where he's like, "Get word to," and then somebody hits him with an arrow, and he's like, "Alright."
Yeah.
He was like, "Okay," you know. But in this, it really hits home that a main theme of this story is that for the women, their battlefield is the pregnancy bed. So they had that one shot of her battle, which is just so good, right? I really, really liked that. But yeah, so Rhaenyra has that stuff, and her legitimacy is getting, you know, is getting questioned. Alicent is scheming with the Lord Larys Strong, otherwise known as the Clubfoot.
He's the guy with the cane.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And he's a bit of a psychopath.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. She's like talking with him. It's like, yeah, she looked at me funny. All right, next day that woman's dead. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He's like, I'll take care of it. Like anyone that messes with you, I was like, whoa, chill out. Like,
exactly. And I mean, like, he was looking at the people like with a little bit of a smile while their tongue was getting.
Yeah, the recent episode. Yeah.
Because
he ends up in episode 6. He ends up killing Harwin, right?
Yeah,
Harwin Strong.
Harwin and Lionel Strong, the Hand of the King at that time.
The dad. He kills his dad too.
Yeah, that's why Otto's Hand of the King in the next episode.
Yeah, I thought he just left. Oh, I knew Harwin died. I didn't know the dad died.
Yeah,
and it just clicked to me like literally days after that episode. I'm like, oh, he killed his brother? I didn't even know they were related. I don't know.
Yeah,
sometimes you miss things. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, he is. I mean, they didn't really hit home that they were brothers, you know. They had a little bit of a other than their names, it's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
But I mean, he also did this for his own ambitions because with Lionel and Harwin gone, Larys becomes
the Lord of the House.
The Lord of the House, Lord of Harrenhal.
Yeah.
So that is huge for him. So he's like two birds with one stone, baby.
Yeah.
You know? And his speech at the end, where it was really gorgeous. It reminded me of a scene that would be in the books, is like where he had like a monologue and it was showing everything that happened, and he was like, "What are children but a weakness?" And at the end of the episode, he was like, "It's best to go about life without the burdens of love or loving anybody." So he is only like fancying Alicent because he sees opportunity for him.
Yeah.
I also don't think it's a coincidence that Larys is very much like Littlefinger and Varys, and his name is kind of a mix of the two. Larys, you know. So I don't think it's a coincidence.
No one noticed, right? Like,
yeah, no.
But it was written like that beforehand.
No,
right?
of course. George R. R. Martin definitely did. George R. R. Martin during this time, like I said, these in the past podcast, these characters, there are so many characters in Fire and Blood that they're like, that he kind of named them on a whim. Like all the Tullys, which we'll eventually get to in when the Dance of the Dragon, the war begins to happen. He named them after Muppets. So the leader of the Riverlands right now is Kermit Tully, and his brother Oscar Tully,
Porky,
and his father Elmo Tully. Yeah,
a Cookie Monster Tully.
Yeah, well,
Big Bird Tully. Like,
I forgot what the other one is.
Grouch.
No, not Grouch.
Bernie.
It might have been Ernie Tully. Yeah, it might have been, or Bernie Tully. But you know,
I like to, those, that meme, or not a meme. You know that like fun trend where like name a movie or show where you replace the entire cast full of Muppets, but one character remains human.
Yeah.
And everyone like said like the Batman, but the Batman is human, but everyone else is a Muppet.
That'd be great. I love that. Yeah,
it'd be funny in Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, everybody but Daenerys is a Muppet. That'd be great. That'd be great. But yeah, so I always think that's interesting. So I think he was kind of naming these people on a whim.
I don't know how you do that.
And it's not even like, Kermit Tully, he is a big player, like, in the war to come. Yeah. Like, he is a huge player. He's the leader of the Riverlands, So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. my favorite character and out of the mainline books is about to show up. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I can tell you his name since he did show up when he was talking to, or when he was swearing to Rhaenyra. His name's Kragan Stark.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
him. Yeah.
Awesome guy. Awesome. He's so sick.
Nice.
He's one of my favorite characters.
How do you feel about the time jumps and what the audience is reacting to the time jumps? Because like I feel like while a lot of people who really love the source material or just really like Game of Thrones and know a lot of this stuff, a lot of the audience watching this show are like a normie base.
Yes.
You know, most of the audience are just people who are not used to this or don't know why this is happening, why these time jumps are happening. A lot of people are frustrated. They don't like it. Some people are confused to why all the time jumps are happening.
Yeah.
I kind of really don't mind. I don't care. I like it because we have to. Because like I would assume, I haven't read the books, but I would assume that these like episodes are just like one sentences. It just happens like, oh, here's who dies and like what happens, but nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, I agree with you. I think the normies are afraid that what is happening here is the same that what happened in season 8 of Game of Thrones. Here's the thing, is that I agree with you that I've seen these people. I've seen comments that have said, like, why did we skip here 10 years? That should be a whole season.
Yeah.
You know? But you do know in the books, George R. R. Martin wrote, and then nothing happened this 10 years until this moment. You know, like during that 10-year time jump, where we are right now is called, I think, the Year of Blood or the Spring of Blood or something, where everything begins to go wrong. You know, Lena dies.
If it hasn't already, if it wasn't obvious already.
Yeah, Lena dies, Harwin dies, Lionel Strong dies, you know, and that's when it begins to,
what's the brother's name? Lena's brother?
Laenor?
Yeah, he dies, but not really.
He dies, yeah.
I heard in the book it says he dies, but the show does a twist on it,
The book is more ambiguous.
Yeah.
I think it is still meant to be ambiguous in the books. I don't think George is... I think George still wanted that to be up to audience interpretation. However, the books is very much, and then this person died, and then these 3 people died, and then this person died, and then this one, and then this dragon, and then this dragon died, and then this person riding that dragon died.
It's literally the Bible for like the first like 5. It's like nothing. There's no story. It's just like, oh, he had 5 children, and then 4 died, and then blah blah blah.
Exactly.
It's like a lineage, like family map, like.
And so I think the writers of the show are going, okay, this one died by fire because his brother killed him. This one died from childbirth. This one we think died, but actually he just escaped, just to add that little variety so that it's not dead, and it gets boring after a while, you know?
Yeah. This story really kind of needs to happen because, like, if you haven't paid attention to, like, what the show is leading to, we're just getting started. Like, this is like not it's coming. Like,
this
you know
is
what I mean?
not.
Like,
this is after this episode. This next episode, no more time jumps. This is it. Like, this is all leading towards the war of the Dance of Dragons, which is the major war that happens. And that's what it's leading towards. And they wouldn't have done this show if it wasn't for that war. You know, it's basically going to be similar to the War of the 5 Kings, but it's with dragons, you know.
And it's all within the same house, relatively, right?
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because they're all Targaryens in a sense, like dragons, like Valerians, Targaryens. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
Valerians, Targaryens.
Whether bastards or not, whether actually Targaryens or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it is going to be that major part, but it's going to be fascinating to see. Jumping to the next episode, something I didn't like too much about it. The lighting,
right?
Ugh.
Okay, and there's people gaslighting other people like, what are you talking about? My TV, I saw it fine. Shut up. If it's this much of a problem that so many people are having this issue, not everyone's watching it too. I watched it from my computer and I had problems. And then I watched half the other on my phone. I'm like, this is so dark. Like,
I didn't think it was, in terms of the darkness, I didn't have problem with the darkness. What I had problem with was it was clearly shot during the daytime. Yeah. And you could tell because
the shadows are really clear.
Yeah, you could tell it was really bad because Lauren even caught onto it. Like, Lauren, she's getting smarter with this Game of Thrones stuff though,
or just filmmaking in general. You can tell that this is not filmed at night.
Yeah, Lauren's like looking at the stuff and she's like, was that a slight? And I'm like, good, you're learning, Lauren. You're becoming more of like a Throny. I love it, you know. But she looked at it and she was like, what the hell is this lighting? And I'm like, yeah, it's really bad. Like I wasn't gonna bring it up, but it was really bad. You know?
Whoever lights, like
Yeah.
whoever's handling the lighting in Game of Thrones is like what Christopher Nolan is to sound editing, where he's like, oh, I can't hear anything, I'm gonna boost it up like to 1,000. While this is the opposite. Oh, I can see it clearly, so I'm gonna turn the lights all the way
Yeah,
down.
exactly. I just thought it was so funny that when Rhaenyra came up to her son Jace and was like, "Go to bed," and Lauren was like, "It's 3 p.m. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, you can't. Like, is it the same
Yeah.
day? Like, what is going on? Like-
Exactly. But that scene was really good, where the funeral scene, where
you can see Allison. If you go to that scene, Alice. Well, Rhaenyra's looking at Daemon, and you can see Allison looking at Rhaenyra. She's like, tape it down,
like,
Rhaenyra.
"Don't you do
And
it."
It's like, you do it right here again. But it's
Yeah,
so
exactly.
fun. It's so memeable. It's like so hilarious.
it's so good.
He's like so fed up
Yeah.
with that
But
Rhaenyra. It's hilarious.
It's just everything I love about. Apparently, that was the first scene that they filmed.
yeah,
you
I
know?
heard. Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't want to show Viserys's like decrepin in this episode.
Yeah.
Or for anybody like to leak it, so he was followed with like security on the island and stuff, which is
Nice.
crazy.
Like a real king.
Yeah, and Paddy Considine had an interview where he was like, it was so cool. It's the first time I ever had to be like secretive like this, you know. And he
I
was like, "It's so sick."
I think he's like one of the few actors who's like not with like he's like he gets along with the cast, but you can tell like the rest of the cast who are younger are like all vibing with each other
Oh,
and
yeah.
talking about regular stuff, and he just sits there in the interviews like
Oh, yeah.
he's like actually Viserys in real life. He just
Oh,
sits
yeah.
there like yeah.
I mean, there was this. Did you see the one where like they talked about Matt Smith and the Morbin time? meme
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff?
yeah, that's the one
And
I'm
he was
talking
like-
about.
And he was like, "Oh, that's nice."
He has no idea
I
what
was
morbid
like,
time
He's
is.
such a grandpa, dude. Yeah, I love it. But Paddy Considine, as we'll talk about later, he has become what I think one of the best performers we have seen in a live action Game of Thrones, maybe of any like live action fiction. He brings such a Shakespearean tragedy to the character that was
He
not
just
there in
wants
the books.
everyone to get along
Which-
and have a
but
good time.
That isn't there in the books. Like in the books, he's more like Robert. He just drinks. He drinks,
Literally,
poops.
someone
and,
drew a
has sex with
parallel
people.
between when the kids were arguing at the end of this episode, and then someone drew a parallel to Robert. Oh, right enough. She says one thing, he says
says
another.
another. Yeah,
Like,
well, it's-
what? I can't make anything of
That
this.
scene
Like,
was so reminiscent of the conflict between Arya and
like Cersei and Joffrey and all
and
that.
Joffrey in the second episode where Ned has to kill Sansa's direwolf, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, I mean it is like, and also that scene, it's the exact same as Robert. Robert doesn't give anybody justice. He doesn't choose one. Nobody feels satisfied, and that's probably the worst thing you can do as a king is make that everybody feel dissatisfied. But we'll get there. But what I really liked about the funeral scene was like the sea snakes, or the Lord of the Tides, his brother. He was giving the eulogy, and he says, the blood of the Valerians runs
And they're talking
strong,
about, yeah.
and he was kind of sliding that. What I really like about that is Damon laughed, and which is really like, you're laughing at your wife's funeral, but he's laughing because he's like, wow, dude, seriously, you're doing petty politics at my wife's funeral.
Some people would
you
even
know?
say that he did it to draw attention away from Rhaenyra and her
Yeah,
children.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like
It's crazy. It's
really
just
cool.
there's so much going on, and the fact that Viserys went up to Daemon and was like, "Hey, come to my court. Like, I need a Targaryen."
He's like, please, can we just be like brothers again?
Yeah.
Like, can we just be a family?
I think Daemon might be a little bit mad that he didn't contact him to be Hand of the King.
Again.
Yeah, like
For the second.
because in the first episode, he was like, 10 years you've been king, and not once have you asked me to be your hand. And so maybe he's a little bit miffed at him for that.
He can't even stay. He can't stay mad at anyone, not even Otto. Like in the end, because he just
Yeah.
asked him to come back, like
Yeah.
off screen. Like,
Yeah, definitely. And I love that little meeting with Otto where he was like, as fat as the leech grows, he always wants for another meal, and Otto's like, oh, okay, like, oh, like, look at this guy, But I love the hate between them is still so fiery and real, and Otto having to go to Aegon and be like, get up, and Aegon's like, huh, what is it?
He's just drunk.
Yeah. But the biggest thing this episode is that probably Aemon, the second son of
Alicent?
Viserys and Alicent, has gotten like the biggest like weapon of war in the entire kingdom.
If a nuclear bomb could fly,
and
breathe.
in the books it says that if a dragon lives beyond 100, a man cannot kill it. It has to be another dragon. So the fact that nothing can kill that thing, like, is huge. And the fact that this child now has this gigantic weapon of war and Otto realizes that is big. And I really wish that they talked a little bit more about it. We got a shot with Rhaenyra and Daemon kind of being like, who dat? You know,
I am
who's running
surprised
that?
that they glossed during that fight between the kids that either he had no idea or just like didn't care enough to like all right, we kind of saw, they didn't really solve the problem, but like there's Alicent slashes like Rhaenyra and they're all right, we're done. Like no, do you not know what just happened? Like you lost they had not you lost, you have a dragon. Like there was like clear exchange of power, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just huge. Like it's a huge advantage for like this one for Team Green. That's what they're calling it, the Greens and the Blacks, right?
That is their names in the books.
Yeah,
yes.
Alicent's is team, is the. Is it team or house? I don't know what to call it. The Greens and the Blacks. That's what I'm
It's just the
like
Greens and the Blacks.
So
yeah.
that sounds wrong. The Blacks.
No,
even though they're clearly white.
If you don't think about it.
No, I know. But everyone within the context of the show, everyone knows what it means.
Yeah.
But Alicent's the Greens and Rhaenyra is the Blacks. Why is it the Blacks? Because Targaryens, that's what their color is.
Yeah. Well, their color, their background of their color it's black and red with the red dragon and the black background. So. That's just how it is, Like that's a good question. Why it's not red? Because I would think it would be the reds.
Because I think there's a difference between their house color and what their war banner color is.
Yeah.
Because he says, what's the color for their war banners for for Alicent's the High Towers?
Yeah.
It's green. So I'm to assume there are two distinct colors between each house.
Well,
maybe
the High Towers is gold and green because their background is maybe it's silver and green actually. I don't know, but their sigil is the Tower of Old Town, which is where the Maesters go to learn and all that stuff, and where the Ravens get all sent off, and we see it in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, I love Old Town, and I really hope they show it in live action again because I love that place. I love the High Towers. These are probably the worst of the High Towers that we see, but they're still interesting,
Yeah.
But like the acting from Patty in that scene, dude, so good. When he has like his sleeve, like he's old and decrepit, and he's like.
Did he lose his arm or did
he lost his arm? Yeah,
he just cut it off.
He cut it off because the disease would have came to his entire body.
Is it great? Is it grayskin?
No. He has I believe some people have said that he has a form of leukemia. I think that's what they said.
Oh.
Or was it diabetes or something? He has something like that. But I
would assume tetanus because
of
getting
his cutting.
something like that.
But it just I really like the symbolism of that because in the books he doesn't get decrepit like this, but I like the symbolism of this one because it's like his hand is rotting like Otto was his hand and it's corrupting him, and Otto kind of spurred this whole thing on,
Yeah.
But I love that scene. Like there's one line every time I watch it. Like I watched it with Lauren last night and I paused it and I went, that's acting. Patty Considine, the goat.
It's when he's yelling that we're a family.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes. And I was like, he's, I watched some of his new movies or some of his older movies, and he's mainly a comedic actor.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz, The World's End.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched those, they're hilarious. Just seeing him in.
Rhys Ifans is actually a pretty big comedic actor as well, but which is interesting because he's the lizard in Spider-Man, which is so funny.
That's where I mainly know him from.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's good.
But yeah, he was like his scene where he was like, "We are family," and he does like that little, and he's like, "Now say your sorries, your apologies." He was like, "And make goodwill to one another. Your father, your grandsire, your king demands it." And I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Oh God, it's so good," and that it's just like. it's been a while since a Game of Thrones scene has made me like excited for acting, and I think the last time that happened was in season 6 when Sir Davos confronted Melisandre about Shireen getting burned.
Yeah.
And he was like, she was a little girl and I loved her, you know, and he like berated at her and stuff like that. It was really good, you know. And that really made me excited, and the fact that there were no acting moments that really made me excited
Following after
that
Yeah.
is pretty telling. But yeah, it was great. Aegon, have you seen the preview for the next episode?
They look older. Yeah.
Yeah, Aegon looks cool with the Aemon looks cool with the
Yeah.
iPad.
It's weird.
you know?
Aegon looks older than Aemon does.
I think you mean Aemon looks older than Aegon?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know if that's Aegon. I think that might be the 4th child.
By the way,
because they've had a baby off screen. They have 4 children, Alicent and.
I was gonna say, you were talking about how George R. R. Martin, like the words are like all like together. The Targaryen names are like, oh, boop 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 boop. We're just like switching the front with the back, and then this name: Aemon, Aegon, Rhaenyra, Daenerys, like Viserys.
Good names.
It's
though,
like a bunch of
right?
it's all the same.
Yeah.
Like,
and I like how Jacaerys has a nickname like Chase. You know, like that's really good. Yeah, it's really nice. Before we move on, how about that scene with the sea snake and the queen who never was, where he's like. He was like, what is the pursuit of this? What is the meaning of this life if not the pursuit of legacy?
Yeah.
Like, and she was like, that might be why you live yours, but I just want my family to be safe. Like, I was like, dang,
two different.
that is good.
Yeah,
you know.
And it sucks that she has to live with like the fact that, at least to what she knows, that her son died. Even though that's not true, but that's all they're gonna have to live with that.
Yeah.
Like for the rest of their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens later on.
I mean, unless if they reveal it, that'd be kind of. I don't know what that would do to Rhaenyra and her family.
I think it's not said in the books what happens. I think the only thing would be Rhaenyra telling the 2 parents
just to make them like, hey, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Or would even
because
be mad,
there are
like,
some alliances later on that happen that I'm like, if they suspect Daemon and Rhaenyra killed like him, I feel like that couldn't happen, you know. Some stuff that happens later on, but we'll get there when we get there. The war lines have been drawn this episode.
If you didn't think they were drawn, they obviously showed it one side slowly and then one side the other. Like,
and it was like between like a fireplace and stuff, and they did a cool shot like that. Really cool. That scene where like Alicent was about to stab her, and then Rhaenyra looked at the knife and saw like the fire within it. Yeah, it's crazy. The knife in the book doesn't have this big symbolism. That knife is not going to kill the Night King in the books. Yeah,
that was a different one, right?
That's the same knife that kills the Night. That
in the show, okay. In the show, it hints at that, but in the books, it's not.
In the books, it is the reason why the battle or the War of the Five Kings starts, because that's the dagger that Littlefinger uses. It's Tyrion's dagger at this point in the story, but Littlefinger steals it and gives it to the assassin who tries to kill Bran and cuts Catelyn, and that starts the conflict.
But the one in the show, those are 2 different knives. The one that Arya uses and Littlefinger's.
It's the same knife
in the show.
Yes, that knife is the same knife all the way through.
So regardless, so ignoring the show, in the books that's still the same knife. Like
it's in the books that's still the same. But the books, nobody knows where the knife is. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So
in Fire and Blood, it's not even there. Like no mention of this blade. Like it doesn't do a Lord of the Rings thing where like, come from my blood comes the prince that was promised. That doesn't happen, you know. So yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the episode coming out tonight. And for those of you who have watched it, probably already seen it. So lucky you guys, or time travelers.
You guys to the future. Good job seeing it before us.
Yeah.
Darn.
Oh man. But either way, I'm super excited, and I can't wait for these the following 2 episodes after that. And that'll be the end of season 1.
And then.
Another season.
And then 2 years until we get season 2.
That long?
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're all adults now. That way the kids don't really have to
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
age, so they can keep the same actors.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, let's get some news out of the way. Not a lot happened, but still, enough before we get onto our main topics. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Season 4, second Cour comes out January 5th, along with a PV visual, which is really cool. I still haven't caught up to the 4th season. I'm still on the 3rd, but either way, really cool stuff. Black Clover, Sword of the Wizard King is the full title for the new Black Clover movie.
Canon or not?
I think if I remember correctly, it said anime canon. So I don't know what that means for.
I don't like that.
It's
I don't like anime
I could
canon.
be I know it's canon. I just don't know if it's manga or anime canon. But nonetheless, it is going to be somewhat canon. It's not filler. So for those of you who are like kind of worried about that, either way, look forward to that. Studio Pierrot looks like they put their butt into this. A lot of people are excited. It comes out 2023, I believe. I could be wrong, but it comes out 2023. It looks really good. Pierrot looks like they're stepping up because I hear a lot of good things about Bleach, 1,000 Year Blood of War. It's coming out.
You keep talking, Edgar. I'm going to go get some water.
All right. Well, Ben.
I'm sweating like a bucket.
All right, Ben. Bet. All right. I'm going to talk and gives out the latest news while Ben does that. So next up we have the let's see right here. All right, well, Ben's gone. Let's just share this little secret time between you and me. I don't really like Ben at all that much. He thinks he's running the show, but I'm the one running the show. I do the editing. I do the YouTubes. I do the Instagrams. So in a few months, you're going to see a little bit of a change. I'm going to start on my own podcast behind Ben's back. So what I want you guys to do is subscribe to that one and drop this one off. Just forget Ben because, y'all like me better, right? I think we can all agree. We can all agree with that. Anyway, let's keep moving on so Ben doesn't pick up on what's going on. Tokyo Revengers by Ken Wakui is heading towards the story climax of the final arc in Weekly Shonen Jump magazine, issue 47 in 2022, out October 19th, 2022, with a color page. This series will also reveal character popularity pool, which will come out in the same issue, but it looks like it's coming to the end. Tokyo Revengers is joining the long list of anime and mangas that are coming to an end because apparently that's the trend now. They all gotta end at some point, but it's just funny how so many are ending now within the same time frame.
Oh, so funny.
Nothing happened, Ben. Hey, welcome back.
Nothing
happened when you were gone.
Happened?
No, yeah.
Oh wow.
But don't listen to this next episode.
Don't listen to it. Okay, Edgar. He takes videos on my phone sometimes, and he goes, "Oh, this is what happens when you're not paying attention."
I used to do that so much. I
he
just thought there was
should.
fun. Ever since I always made a big deal
I have
about
them all
it.
saved on like a Google Drive file.
'Cause it's like,
7.
How
videos.
often do you see like a location where you were immediately after you leave? Just seeing that is just so like fourth wall breaking.
And
to
also
me.
from like sometimes you film me like while I'm like
doing something
One of
else?
them I was giving a presentation. You were like, "This is what happens when," and I was like, "Okay, everybody, quiet down." And I was able to watch like my presentation and stuff. It was very funny.
I missed recording in high school. I missed recording in general. I really like that, but we don't
Yeah.
have those moments where we're like, oh, we're doing stuff.
Well,
all the
if we
time.
get big enough, vlogs are a huge possibility.
Yeah.
That would be great.
24-hour stream.
Oh yeah, exactly.
24-hour episode. Like,
Yeah, dude, I would love to, go to like
Yeah.
cons and stuff and just vlog.
once we move to
That'd be great.
Japan, that's gonna be like like Vlog City. That's like Vlog.
Oh, that's
country.
Vlog Central, my dude.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
That's Vlog Central.
Domestic Girlfriend manga creator Kei Sasuga launches a new manga October 19th. I believe we also have the title. It's called It's Secret Between Couples, and there's also a volume cover. With that, one of the main characters really looks like the one from Domestic Girlfriend, which looks really funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend to go check it out, but that one's pretty wild manga. If you're hot, why don't you take this hoodie off?
Because I'm not wearing anything under
Oh
it.
my!
I don't want to be nude.
Only you would wear just a hoodie and that's it.
I thought it would be colder, but I forget that your room is like 20% window. I forget.
Oh yeah, because the heat comes in. Yeah, that sucks.
No, mine is the same. Mine is like 40% window.
40%. Oh, that's like a realtor. All right, this room's 50% window,
Yeah.
and this other room's 20% window. But how big are they? Let's figure that out. Sword Art Online Dive to Stage, opening November 22nd. It looks like Sword Art Online is gonna get a stage play. I'm surprised it's taken this long for this to happen because animes are so obsessed with having a live play adaptation rather than films. And it's just so weird seeing like basically if you ever wonder what that is, it's just like cosplay on a higher budget.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's nothing too impressive. But because they always look like the characters,
I
want to
see
like,
one so bad. Like that's
Yeah.
these are my two professions.
like how good are they
Yeah.
if they get this much attention and money?
These
like,
are my two. I know that the Demon Slayer one was like a world-renowned sensation, but I'm like, I want to see him so bad because it's my two professions, like manga and theater. Like it's like I want to see it.
Yeah,
you
bro,
know?
let's go. I'm ready. I should go check it out. This Sword Art Online play along with others whenever they come out.
Yeah.
Ben, remember when I told you about the Makima Japanese actress when she prayed to get the role for Makima in the
Yes,
Chainsaw Man
I
anime?
do.
Well, Kubo and the staff for Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War went to temples to pray for the anime success. Yeah, they took a picture in front of the temple, and apparently, they just wished all, good things for the anime to come out.
Oh, that's good. That's
Kubo,
good.
the mangaka for Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War. I think this might actually just be the staff for the manga. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Or either that, one way or another. It's the staff for the anime, but Kubo is there nonetheless, and they prayed, for the success, which is really endearing and
That's
just
good. Yeah.
really, really nice and a lot of good things. Speaking of 1,000 Year Blood War, this isn't official news, but it did premiere. First episode did premiere at the New York Comic Con. A lot of good things. The budget is like through the roof, apparently movie quality, but on a non how do you say this, something that's surprising but not good, or what do you call it,
Unfortunate.
not unfortunate, but it's like, oh well, that was not disappointing, abrupt, I don't know how to say it.
Okay.
That Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War will be streaming on Hulu in the States, which is really
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I read that.
it's just like
Yeah, that was something I was thinking of talking about, which is just like, like why?
yeah,
You
I know. Disney is the because everywhere else internationally other than the West and States, it'll be on Disney Plus.
Probably. I think it's
because Hulu is belongs to Disney, right?
Yeah. No, not.
Yeah.
What? Oh, it
Yeah.
does. It does. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that comes with the package.
Yeah.
But Disney Plus everywhere else, I think.
It is Disney Plus. It's confirmed.
Yeah, I think it is everywhere else except Japan. I don't
no,
know.
yeah, no, duh.
Yeah. I don't think it's in Japan.
But literally everywhere else internationally, it's going to be streaming on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And then when I just saw Hulu, it's just like, that's so weird. Obviously, if you're going to pirate, why listen to us? But most people who obviously watch this stuff on the actual stuff that comes out, just seeing it on Hulu was just so
doesn't Hulu make you watch ads even when you pay for their subscription?
except for certain shows that are less than 15 minutes or something. But I remember when I used to watch if I wasn't watching anime on Netflix, I watched it on Hulu. The reason I got Funimation, my first Funimation subscription, is because they had My Hero, the dub, up until season 3, episode 2, up until season 3, and they didn't have a dub after that. I'm like, where's the dub? Why isn't it on Hulu? I thought
I saw that too.
it only had subs, so I bought Funimation. I'm like, this is the best day of my life. I can watch it. I can keep going. I can keep watching on dub now.
Oh yeah.
Because that's how I first watched My Hero Academia. But yeah, if you want to go check it out, it'll be on Hulu. If you don't have Hulu, I feel sorry about that. But that's what we'll be premiering and screening on. What else do we got? Can we get much higher? Because the One Piece broke not a records, but it did. There was an entire
You did
ad.
not just use that for a segue.
That sounded so cringy. Can we get much higher, guys? One Piece just no. One Piece the film I think had a special premiere at the New York Comic Con as well, along with a lot of other stuff like Chainsaw Man. But it also premiered on at the New York Comic Con, and on Times Square there was a giant takeover. Almost all the screens in Times Square had a One Piece special ad.
Yeah.
You could see the characters. It was promoting One Piece.
I was literally on the Toei animation.
Isn't that
thing,
cool?
yeah.
Can you imagine being a regular person and saying just anime? Because this is what Japan normally looks like on their ads and screens. Just anime advertisement for news content coming out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just so cool, and all those people crowding the streets were just coming out of the Comic Con for this special event really cool. This is like breaking, like we're getting there to like anime being like the 100% like norm in the States, because this is like it's really awesome. I'm not a huge fan of One Piece, but I am reading the manga, even though like I'm nowhere, not even close to being as interested as all these fans are. It's just really, really cool as an anime fan to see it reach new heights such as this, being in such a open public place in Times Square in New York of all places.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you see him on buses on rare occasions. I remember like Japan Airlines when they had Demon Slayer like on the planes, like they would come into the States and you just see Demon Slayer on the tarmac. It's just absolutely hilarious to see.
Oh yeah.
But that was cool. And I believe I also have right here that for the new film One Piece Red, the dub casting. Obviously, those on the dub, it was like it came out like the dub is gonna be the same actors. But Yuta, the voice actress for Yuta, was revealed to be Emily or what's her face? Emily, right?
I don't know who you're talking about.
The chick who sings like all the. She's a big YouTuber, and she's also like a streamer and like.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
She voices Marin from My Dress Up Darling, and she voices what's the voice? I'm gonna. How do I not remember this? Haya. Best girl from Love Is War. You know what her name is. For all those who already know, she does all the dub covers for the English song versions on YouTube. Like you've always, if you've at least heard of one song covered by her, she like does like her entire like YouTube channel is like her doing like English versions of dub anime. It's either her or Nathan. What's his face? I forget what his name is. There's like a guy and a girl. She's like she's probably the biggest like English dub cover for songs. She was cast as Yuta. And Uta. Is it Yuta or Uta? Because it's just a Yuta.
It's Yuta.
Even though there's no Y. It's like
no Y, but it's Yuta.
It's Yuta. She's cast as Yuta for One Piece film Red. But I don't know. They showed the trailer for the dub, and for some reason it looks like they're still going to use the Japanese singer, the actress who plays Yuta.
Yeah, because she sings in English,
which is fine. But I don't know if I would cast Emily, who's a fantastic singer, I would expect her to sing the songs in English. I don't know.
However, last time a dub did this, they changed the Ultimate Battle song in the dub of Dragon Ball Super. Absolute hate.
But Bell came out this year. Yeah. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
The songs were in English are just as accurate and beautiful in the Japanese. So I don't know. Maybe it was like a conflict of like you couldn't translate them well. But I don't know. I feel like when you cast an actress like this who has such a talent towards singing, you would have at least attempted to like have a song.
I'm sure they would have, but there was probably something in the contract of the dub that said you can't change the song.
Toei Animation, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. But I mean, who knows? Maybe this one trailer just didn't show that, and they're just gonna hold that for the movie. If that's the case, awesome. If she actually ends up singing the songs, I would like to see an attempt at that because she's such an amazing singer, and she's a really great actress. Hayasa, I think, is the name from Love Is War that I was forgetting. Yeah. Either way, really cool. And let's just move on straight to the.
Hold on, Edgar. I have the biggest news on the planet.
Oh, really? You do?
The largest news on the planet. It's the biggest thing ever.
Oh, I have one more after that. Okay. But let me just say mine before you say the big
go
one.
ahead.
Because I want you to. I can't wait for that.
Good.
At the Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, the Harvey for Best Manga Award went to Chainsaw Man.
Second year in a row.
Year. But what's even funnier is that do you know that Tatsuki Fujimoto has a Twitter page, but he doesn't have it as himself? He not role plays, but he pretends to be a younger sister to himself or something like that.
Oh, really?
And it's under a different name, but everyone knows it's him.
Okay.
And he's like, and for one tweet, he said, "I received the Harvey Award today. It's a good deal. I recommend it." And everyone's like, "Oh, don't you mean you're proud for your brother to win this award?"
Yeah.
And everyone's like not playing along to the jokes. Even like Murata, the artist from One Punch Man, played along. He's like, "Ha ha ha! I'm pretty sure you mean your brother or something like that." Either way, wish him luck for me.
Oh, good.
But it's just so weird that he doesn't.
He just role plays like that.
Yeah.
He's a silly dude. You can tell even from his mangas. Yeah.
That's great. Second year in award, go Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
Third year, here we go, baby, or something like that.
All right, Edgar, are you ready for the biggest news segment we'll ever have? Satoru Noda finally caves to his reader demands. Noda created and wrote the Golden Kamuy manga, and
I saw this.
and,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
and
about.
Golden Kamuy PP sizes officially ranked by manga's creator. Let's go!
Why do we need to know this information?
Let's go!
Can you imagine like other mangakas doing this? For,
Yeah.
like,
I don't know. Yeah, the Horikoshi, like, oh, that would be wrong. Yeah.
yeah, they're all high school.
Well, I guess they're all 17 years old now, which is the state. Which is
I would imagine
consensual.
I think he would actually get canceled. He would actually like that would be like the line. That would be it.
I don't know. I feel like he's already been canceled multiple times. Some of them for justifiable means, and one of them was justifiable. The other one wasn't, or all of them. The others weren't. But yeah, in an interview with Shueisha Online, Golden Kamuy manga creator Satoru Nodao has finally caved in reader demands by providing a ranking of the character's PP size.
Who was asking for this? Who was asking for this information, guys? What?
He remarked that among 2,200 questions he received for the fan were about PP sizes.
Why would you guys do this? Why?
So, yeah, I don't know any of these characters because I haven't seen Golden Kamuy.
But he ranked them from what I saw, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Every day we stray further from God. Like that's that meme.
Hey
Like,
man, I mean, Oda also answered something like
yeah,
and
but
it-
that's like with
like,
girls and like manga, like general
Yeah.
readers.
True.
But this is like really like because
No, he
like-
also he ranked he didn't
like
rank.
saying
He
the
said-
sizes like
he said somebody asked, is Luffy's pee is it rubber? And he said, wow, pervert. Yeah, it is, but wow.
it's like that rock meme from the other guys. No comment. But yes.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah, but yeah, he called them
Ugh.
perverts. That was just
Yeah.
funny. But I was like, I saw that and I was like, what? Why?
That's the only news I was like, Edgar can handle all the rest, but I gotta deliver
That's
this one.
It's like, hey, can we get more mangakas to do this just out of
Yeah.
curiosity?
Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on. Give us
Come
the
on.
sizes. Give us the ranks. Give us
Come on,
the
come on.
tier lists.
Come on. And if
Yeah.
not, draw it for
We'll
us.
do it.
Berserk does it. Come on. You know?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the big stuff. If you had your head under the sand, it's just started. The fall season for anime, the biggest hype season of the year, probably of all animes like of history, has started.
Winter has come.
Winter has come. It has happened. We're in the winter.
It's
Like
happening,
yeah. Do you want to start off in terms of like release, or do you want to save like your favorite for last if you have any?
Yeah, well,
Because the first one that came out was My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia.
So let's just start with that.
Did you see the episode 2? We can
Yes,
talk
we did.
about that as
Let's
well.
talk about
Okay.
both of those.
Yeah, great. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to talk about the big four. Stay tuned towards the end because I kind of have an idea for Edgar and I. Tomorrow, Chainsaw Man is coming out. We'll talk about that. I have an idea of something that we could do just to give initial reactions to that. But
Sure.
we'll talk about that at the end. But yeah, let's start with My Hero Academia. No spoilers beyond the first 2 episodes
Yeah,
of season
For
6
if you're
of
watching
My
with the
Hero
animes,
Academia.
you don't have to be worried about.
If you
what we
haven't
talk
seen the
about.
anime, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Hop on, watch it, and then come on back and do all that
If you
stuff.
don't like anime, what are you doing? I mean, appreciate the
Yeah.
support, but like, what?
Exactly, yeah.
like, why are
Press
you?
pause, open up the Crunchyroll, open
Yeah.
up whatever you watch it on, do that, then come back, and then
Yeah.
we'll talk about it then. Edgar, the first episode, what'd you think?
It was alright. It was pretty good.
It's good.
I don't think it was I was expecting a filler, so thank God we don't get that because it just
Yeah,
we
I
just,
mean, we still got
we got the recaps. Like we live
yeah.
in a society where like
we got that in
like,
the second episode too. I was like, why don't we do that?
I think every episode
Yeah.
could do that. Black
You think
Clover
so?
does a version of that where it's so annoying. He's like 100 years ago, like the Wizard King defeated like the demon or something like that. Like you know the history with the Wizard King defeating like that giant demon or whatever. It does
I
that.
don't even think I know about that.
It's
yeah.
if you don't remember, they literally do that every episode.
Okay.
He's like, like years ago, like the
Okay.
Wizard King defeated like them. Like, okay, we get it. Like we get it. Like the Wizard King defeated. We don't have to see this anymore. That's basically what My Hero is doing. Like even with season 4, you would see Deku standing in front of the school. Like it's just, I guess it's a thing now that they do. It's not really a recap. It's just like a tag that they always add at the beginning of
Yeah.
the anime.
But
What-
most of the time they don't add it to their episodes, so they just do that full recap. But I feel like I think we're gonna get it again in the next episode. But then after that, I don't think we will. I think it's just for people who are new. You know, who
People
just
do
didn't
forget
watch,
all the. I mean, it always does the small thing, but like we got a little bit more stuff to what's happening.
Yeah.
But a lot of people forget. Yeah, I mean, we watch it and stay consistent with the information.
Yeah, of course.
But a lot for those of you who are like, why do we need to see this? You forget how many people literally just forget everything once they start like a new season for a show.
I love them, but watch the normies reactions on YouTube. They forget everything.
Oh my God, yes they do.
Yeah, I love watching it. I love Blind Wave. I love the normies, but you know, sometimes they can forget a thing or two, but that's just how it is. You know?
that just tends to happen.
Yeah.
But
For some people, this is just a form of enjoyment, and they aren't as deep into it as some of us are, which is completely fine. Like nobody, you don't have to go that deep. It's not necessarily, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But so yeah, this episode, it starts off pretty on the strong foot with Endeavor going into
the hospital,
the Jakku hospital. Yeah.
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 So Jakku sounds like a certain planet from Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
a certain trend Horikoshi follows.
Kamino Ward. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a huge, and I mean Shigaraki is basically Darth Vader, and Deku's basically Luke. So
Yeah.
I mean, there is
the poster from the school festival literally looks like A New Hope.
Yeah.
Like poster, like.
Oh yeah,
And that's like my
yeah.
favorite poster, like one of my favorite posters, volume covers
Yeah.
of the.
And I
of
mean,
mangas.
Gran Torino, you can also kind of look at him and be like, he kind of looks like a small Obi-Wan Kenobi, So,
Yeah, also like he's short, like Yoda.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
he has
I guess-
a silly
I
side.
didn't even realize he's like a mix of Obi-Wan and Yoda.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but he loves the Star Wars, and
Yeah.
they catch Dr. Garaki, right?
Yeah, Dr. Garaki.
Dr.
who
Garaki.
I believe his original name was had to have been cut. Do you remember this was happening in the manga? His original name had to be cut because
it was changed because it resembled of some World War II
some awful
Nazi like.
I think it was
No, it was a
form of-
Japanese or something, right?
Yeah, I think it was a form of torture that the Japanese used on
During
the
World War II.
Chinese during World War. Which, if you make yourself knowledgeable about that, because man, the horrors that the Japanese did to the Chinese in World War II is
Yeah,
like,
Japan's not all flowers and like tea, It's
no,
like,
but I mean, also, here's the thing: the Chinese, the Koreans, the Japanese, they constantly fight one another, and one of them has the moral high ground in this era. The other one has the most recent one. The Chinese are the most sympathetic, but like over history, like the Mongols like invaded and ripped and pillaged all of Japan. You know, so it's like there's just a whole bunch of stuff like that. But moving on, so yeah, they changed his name to Dr. Garaki.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was interesting. I always like his reaction to him like being there. Like it's kind of like, imagine just living a secret life and then all of a sudden you're outed like that.
Yeah.
I would be that scared too.
Yeah, he thought he had like, hey, no one's gonna find out what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they all, like literally almost all of the pro heroes like are just like there, and
Yeah.
he's like, what? And it just I just like it when they catch him on like red-handed like
Yeah.
that.
I love that scene where Strong Arms like he goes up the slide and go. And
He's like, where's
yeah.
everybody?
I love
He's like,
that scene in the
clearly you didn't
manga.
get the memo, you
Yeah,
traitor.
I
He's like,
love that scene in the manga where he's like, "Oh man, like, how's it going?"
Can you imagine just like not looking at your email and then you're actually a good guy, but you just
Yeah.
missed the email, you missed the message, and then he just captured you like, wait, I'm a good guy. I swear, I just didn't read like
Aw,
what's going
man.
on.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be crazy. But
Yeah, literally
Um,
all the heroes in like at least like in most of Japan are like here, like they're all.
just how
this
did
is
they
it.
keep that secret?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, it is crazy. Sadly, they did take out Chainsaw Man.
Yeah,
in the
because for
manga.
those anime watchers only, in the manga, when it shows we're on Deku's side with their group team, all the heroes are displayed that are there, and in the background you can see a cameo of Chainsaw Man, the actual design of Chainsaw Man. In the anime, they just changed him to like a blue regular Saw guy that kind of resembles him, but it's clearly not Chainsaw Man anymore. But in the manga,
Yeah.
if you want to go check it out, there's a cameo of literally Chainsaw Man in the manga, which
Yeah.
is really cool. Cool shout out to when that was going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but this we kick it off like immediately. Deku's like they're all flying. I don't remember. Deku's like heading towards the city, right? Their group is heading towards the
they're-
city
th-
nearby
just to evacuate.
to
'cause
evacuate.
Deku doesn't have a major part in this first part of the story.
Yeah, and then Kaminari's group, where
yeah.
Edshot is leading the charge.
Yeah.
They're going to the headquarters,
Which is
of
a complete contrast to what all of his other students are doing. Like, they're either all staying back or they're evacuating, and Kaminari's like running into like the middle of the war.
Yeah.
And he's like, why is this happening to me? Like, I have the worst grades in my class. Like, please,
along with what's his name?
Along with Tokuyami.
Tokuyami,
Yeah,
Dark
yeah.
Shadow. Yeah.
Dark Shadow.
They're leading the front.
I guess his superhero name is Tsukuyomi. There you go.
Tsukuyomi.
Yeah.
There you go. I
So
forget.
confusing.
I'm gonna remember. I always watching the anime for My Hero specifically. I like watch this stuff, and I'm like, wait, that happened?
Yeah.
Because like I read the manga as much as I like and like read the manga of My Hero. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, or I think I get it until I watch the anime. Like it happened last season. I'm like, wait, this happened? I'm like, but that's exactly what happened with these 2 episodes. I'm like, oh yeah, this happened. I completely forgot, or I just didn't. I wasn't able to determine or like see what the heck was going on.
Yeah.
Because reading the manga, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like it's just hard to tell what the fight scene choreography
It is hard to tell. I don't know. Like this. Like I said, no spoilers beyond this episode, but this last chapter was crazy, for My Hero, and I think it was drawn actually fairly well. But we'll get there when season 8 rolls around. But yeah, so the main topics of these 2 episodes was probably Kaminari and the bunny hero Mirko. Yeah,
she was really cool.
She is really cool, and
Yeah.
they animated her well.
Yeah,
like
really
in
good.
all of her scenes. You know?
I like I said a lot. I know she. I remember in the manga reading. I know she got to like the headquarters and she was chasing Dr. Degraki. But I completely forgot she lost an arm.
Yeah, she loses.
I didn't know she lost an arm. I know
Yeah,
at some.
she loses an arm.
I know she was fighting someone or something. Like, oh yeah, she was fighting the high end nomus. And I'm like, I completely forgot about this scene, like entirely.
And
So
I believe these are high end nomus because they can use quirks like
they can
crazy.
talk for pretty fluently.
And like better than all the other, like the other ones, like
the hooded one was like the I can talk pretty well.
Yeah, but this one's like, this is the mission, and they're getting perfected.
Like, how did you miss?
There is a big fan theory that that Nomu is the same Nomu of the corpse of Kaminari's favorite hero. From America, remember?
Yeah.
He had like that. He would like spike his
Crimson
head
Riot?
and stuff. Yeah, Crimson Riot.
Yeah.
No, I think that's Crimson
Riot.
Yeah,
Because Red Riot.
Red Riot. Yeah,
he copied the name.
Yeah.
But yeah, this fight really good. Mirko loses an arm, tragic. And then Kaminari's moment came to shine. Really, I think this was really well animated.
Good. That's when I was really hyped.
I think I like this better than the manga. As highly drawn the manga is, I feel like the scene was like done really well. Where he like turns around slowly, the heroes are running, and just like zooms all the way back to like what he
track.
and it focuses on Jiro. A really nice moment.
And I was
really like.
I think in the manga, I don't think it's Jiro. I think it's like Jiro and the classmates. But I really like that specificity of, hey man, I think like I'm not one for shipping, but like Kaminari and Jiro is like pretty.
Everyone, yeah,
it's pretty built up, you know.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked that, like the flashback between him and the guitar and stuff, and the old soundtrack that was like all the way back from season 1, like it fit really well with it because it was a guitar theme, you know, the that one, you know, that played along with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool how he, you know, and it shows how much better that he's gotten. Because if that would have happened to him like in earlier seasons, he would have short circuited and done the
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, because he's literally taking like in electricity. That moment was really cool, like the blue lightning and all that. It was like contrasting between like
really cool, man.
Yeah, lightning users in anime are like always have they're like one of the coolest like powers to have.
Yeah, definitely.
Really cool. Really like that moment.
But he looked so cool, and I liked that the first like picture they showed of him, I was like, damn, that looks cool, and it got closer and more detailed, and I was like, God, that looks good. And then it got even closer and more detailed, and he was like, yeah, let's win this war and stuff. And I was like, oh my, it has been so long, Edgar, since I felt hype from an anime. I felt a little bit of hype from My Hero Academia anime. I felt a little bit of hype when Black Whip showed up. But I don't think that was animated to its fullest potential. I definitely don't think My Villain Academia was animated to its fullest potential. They could have. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But now it makes me be like, okay, Now we're getting
Yeah,
somewhere.
we're seeing
like,
good stuff.
Yeah, and with Mirko, like when her muscles.
I like her a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, the voice actress really nails it.
Yeah, the
I
sub
always,
actress is really good.
She's like in the manga, she's like drawn like flawlessly, like gorgeous, awesome hero, like an absolute waifu. But like even after seeing that and like reading the manga and knowing all the hype behind her, even then I was still like, yeah, I don't, but I don't get why people like kind of like her. But like I don't know, the anime always just like fleshes out this stuff, and the actress just nails it. I'm like, she's cool, like really cool, like a Bakugo type personality, hot-headed, and like really into the fight.
Yeah,
great fighter,
different kind of personality, because we know a lot of heroes are like, we have to also protect ourselves, while but she and All Might would be awful teachers, like, because like All Might's like, you do anything you can to save anybody, even if it risks your life, and Deku's like, okay, All Might. And
I
then
just
he,
love
like, breaks his arms.
I love her like banter with Gigaki. It's like, is it the real one? I don't know. I won't figure out till I kick him.
It. Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, oh, please.
Yeah, but I love the thing that it's like that when she puts that thing around her arm and she's like, don't you know, I'm not scared. I go to work every single damn day thinking I'm about to die. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Like really cool. But yeah, and then there was a little bit honorable mention. There was a nice moment with Crust.
The shield hero.
Yeah, he was like, there was a moment where he was like holding him back, and it like was really well animated. I was really happy with that. Some of the downsides, I hate sometimes I don't know who's animating it, but sometimes Deku looks like a chibi like character, like especially in that scene where they were talking. I was like, this is awfully animated. Like you couldn't do better than this. Like
I wish the lighting choices in terms of animation could be a bit better. I noticed in the scene like where like and when like they opened up the building, it just all looked like the same lighting.
That's a good thing.
Between like the inside and like the outside, it looks like all the same. Like when they open up when Cementos like opens the building, it just kind of looked flat to me.
That's a good point to bring up. Like you couldn't have done this time of day like when the sunset was happening or when sunrise was happening to make it look cooler, you know?
Even in MAPPA and like Attack on Titan, like when they animated, even in their bad animation moments, quote unquote, the lighting always like looked really well, and the shadows looked really good too. So like even in their faults, they managed to hit that really well, which I wish My Hero Academia or Bones. Not Bones specifically, because they handle it well at times, but like with My Hero Academia, I wish they can this season. I wish they hit that nail on the head well this time.
And maybe we'll get there. Like this is still the first 2 episodes, and that was just a talking scene, you know. So I'm glad that they're focusing on that stuff. But see, like looking at Mob Psycho compared to this, you're just like, God, Bones does such good, like such picturesque stuff.
Do you want to move on to that next, or do you still have more?
Sure. Just tell me what you think about the ending and opening.
I like the ending better than the opening, and I really don't like the opening. I really don't.
I like the...
I think it's the weakest opening that I've heard of all of this fall season so far. The visuals are nice.
The visuals
I'm surprised
really
we haven't gotten something like that.
Visuals are really nice.
We haven't gotten something like that. Comic book. They literally took panels from the manga.
The festival arc was kind of like a comic-y. That one, yeah.
But like this one like felt like a comic book, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this one's comic book.
They took visual, like just visuals that Horikoshi drew that wasn't in the manga, and they took actual panels.
To
from
be
the manga.
honest, like with how comic booky Horikoshi's style has gotten recently, just switch to that art style, you know? Like it looks so good. Why not just switch to it? You know?
I just don't like the song. It's like the weak.
Yeah,
it's
the weakest.
It's like it's like fast, but it doesn't feel hype, and the tone doesn't match like what's the
especially with
the
the cold open that we had this second episode, which was so dark, and like he's talking about the Nomus being bioengineered zombies who don't have any will. Like that's crazy. And then it goes I'm like, what the
But it's like not even good. It's like it's one thing when like Jujutsu Kaisen, for example, the opening is like then it's all nice and like cool and hype and it's dark, but the song is like nonetheless it's like good. But with this one I'm like it's not even hype enough to like.
Well, that one was even like stylized, and it like that in my opinion is the greatest ending of all time, and you know that fits. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's Poo Poo and Bones. You gotta come out swinging with that second OP.
Yeah,
like that's gotta come out swinging, bro.
Yeah,
But-
because we'll be at a point of the story where it has to be like,
But next episode from what we see in the preview looks awesome. So
I forget. I didn't look at the preview, and I forget what happens following until like a certain moment.
I'll tell you after the podcast is over. But
Looking forward to it. It looks like a promising future for the anime, and a lot of people, aren't like, My Hero fans tend to be toxic, and nothing's been thrown at them yet.
Yeah,
So
definitely
looking forward. Mob Psycho.
one and only one. One and only one. Yeah.
Anyway,
Mob,
that was nice.
Yeah, Mob is the best thing that I've seen this year so far.
This year?
I mean, in terms of this year, I meant to say out of these four.
Oh, okay.
I think it had the best first episode out of these four that we're going to be talking about. But first of all, opening banger. Absolute banger. The ending's really good too, but the opening as an argument to be one of the greatest of all time.
I think it's the best until we hear Chainsaw Man fully. I think Mob Psychos is like the definitive best opening of the season.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I think it's the best one out of all the Mob Psycho openings.
Yeah,
that might be a hot take, but I firmly believe that.
No, I firmly believe it.
Because if you go back to the episode when I talked about the opening, when I heard it, when it was leaked.
Yeah,
I was like, on the first listen, I'm like, this is the
banger.
It's the best one. Like,
banger.
That only happens to me a few times, but like when I heard the full version, I'm like,
and when
so
his
good.
eyes are like changing and stuff. Oh,
my favorite moment is like when the line of color drops like and explodes.
Oh yeah, the reverb comes down,
and then you can see Mob walking slowly, and there's color. I love the color scheme.
Or he hits, like Reagan hits
pedal,
like the distortion, and then it comes down, and then Mob comes out from it. Yeah, that's sick. My favorite part is the circles building up, and then the Reagan like pointing and stuff,
and he like does the twirl.
Yeah, and Mob doesn't have a good pose until he's just twirling and stuff. Like, that's really good.
Yeah,
the
episode, it just takes it back to roots. What it's not the fights, it's not like all the crazy animation. It's like the heartfelt moments, which makes Mob Psycho very endearing, and where one's writing really shines.
Yes.
We talk about Mob's future. It's just clear that this is like the last season. If you haven't heard, because the manga.
By the way, sorry to say, no spoilers beyond this episode of Mob Psycho.
Yeah.
Edgar hasn't read the manga. I have, so yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
I won't spoil anything. Keep going. Sorry,
but Mob's like determining what his future will be like because he's in middle school and they're gonna go to high school.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure, but they're asking they really shove it like down your throats in Japan. At the end of the year, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do with your life? You know what I mean?
Well, this one, I really like this. This one is like a little bit more positive. Like that's more like, well, you can decide later on, but like it's good if you decide now. It would be great if you have a direction, and if that changes, that's fine. Which I really like because I definitely know my dad. He grew up in Germany. I know other countries like in Germany when he was a kid. It's not like this anymore, but they give you like what you decide after middle school or elementary school, that's what you're gonna be. There's no decision beyond that.
As like tense and like whoa that could be saying that. I feel like America needs some of that. I feel like I feel like we just do school as much as they tell you about college. It's this is it. They don't.
What I think America really needs is apprenticeships. I think that's what they really need. I don't think they need internships. I think they need paid apprenticeships, and the government should be funding apprenticeships so that apprenticeships that get you jobs afterwards. That's why I think my dad was an apprentice when he was in Germany, and it got him a job immediately.
Sounds like really apprentice, like a sorcerer or something.
Yeah. Well, if you watch Chowder, it's kind of like that.
No, yeah.
Like how Mangdal was the teacher there. But and similar to how Reagan is to Mob. Yeah.
Yeah. I like how he gives him the the freedom to do what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel like it was
really sweet.
As much of a con artist he is, he just oh yeah, there was character progression. He's not just reverting back to his old ways.
Yeah.
And it was really nice. With the clubs and explaining what they want to do.
Yes.
gosh, what else happens? Oh yeah, when they go to exercise that man's house, I thought it was just gonna be, oh, you're just a mess.
Don't you mean
you're dirty.
exorcise?
Yeah.
I love that.
Can we talk about how like low key and like not low key at all the dub just like simul dubbed itself and just like
Yeah, they just kind of did it under. And let's be honest, I watched it first and I didn't like it. I watched it again and I actually really liked it.
No, it was good.
It
It's
was
just
really
clearly,
good.
obviously by this point they replaced Mob. They replaced
Yes,
Kyle
with,
McCarthy.
with Jason Leichbricht,
Yeah.
who is
the voice of Zeke Yeager from Attack on
and
Titan,
Dobby
and
from
Dobby from My Hero.
Yeah.
or Vulcan from Fire
Yeah.
Force.
And sometimes he sounds really good. Sometimes he sounds like Zeke.
But
And
he's
I'm like,
getting
you know,
it's just a complete like new role for him
Yeah.
and way younger than he's usually
is,
cast as.
He is doing a great job.
Yeah. Don't give him hate. Don't give this dub
no.
hate. As
He's
kinda,
a great voice actor and a great dude.
as
yeah.
kind of like not cool and like suspicious as they released it, because normally with such a big anime as Mob Psycho season 3, when not even My Hero is simul dubbed, they would have announced this, but clearly they don't want to get any of the heat from it.
It makes me think that maybe the higher ups or like the Japanese execs at Crunchyroll were like, this needs to be simul dub. I don't know. Like maybe that's why they didn't have enough time to do that sit down stuff. But I don't know. We'll probably get more about it later.
Why they did simul dub, I have no idea. But
No idea.
it's obvious why they didn't make any announcements about it, because they don't want to get any
Oh
heat
yeah, definitely.
from the controversy getting
Definitely.
from it. But
but Reagan's VA is still very good.
Yeah.
Like there's this one part where what's his face Serizawa exercises that one totem, and Reagan's voice actor goes like, yeah, and so it sounds like I love the Mob Psycho dub and how they add like just silly stuff like that. Like it's a perfect show for it. You know, it's really good. But sorry, we were talking about the exercising at that guy's house, and
I forgot to mention the Umbrella guy is joined like the agency.
Serizawa. I think his
Serizawa,
name is.
yeah. He was in the end of season 2. He had like similar issues with Mob in terms of like you know.
There's a really good OVA with all of them in it.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Edgar, you should watch. It's really good, dude.
I'll watch it. Yeah,
I promise you, it's really good. It's really funny.
that looks really good.
Yeah.
And like there's like a moment between like the old man and like what he wants to be, what he wanted to be in his future, and how much his life has like gone down the gutter. It's also really funny because like, oh, I used to have hair and like you're bald in this, dude. What are you talking about? You've always been bald.
Yeah.
But I thought it was gonna end up being him not just make.
Oh,
sorry,
Edgar just died.
I had choked.
Oh,
I'm sorry about that. I thought it was just gonna be an old man who can't like clean up his house, but it turns out he was actually cursing like everybody around him.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is this real? When Reagan went to the store and all these like people just started passing out.
Procrastination demons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you catch the thing at the end? I feel like a lot of people missed this, but what I thought was at the end when he was like, "That's okay, now I'm all good, I'm ready to work," and he looks over and he picks up Shonen Jump magazines. And there were multiple of them, and a lot of people went, "Oh no, he's already hoarding again." But for me, I took that as, I think this might be like a self-insert from one, where
maybe he had the same similar issues.
Yeah, the procrastination demon, and when he picks up Shonen Jump, he's like, I have these procrastination issues, you know. But when you like get people who like help you out in the end, and you realize it's not all that bad. When you're ready to work, you're ready to work, you know.
Yeah.
So I
didn't get that. That's nice.
I thought that was really interesting, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I took from it.
Yeah. But there was that nice moment, and then at the end they tease that Dimple's up to stuff.
Yeah.
He has plans
He's
in
like,
mind.
oh, my time has come.
Yeah, because Mob asked him like, "What did you want to do?"
Mm-hmm.
And then he forgot like, "Oh yeah, I wanted to be like a god and like you know have my own religion," and he kind of forgot. And now it seems like he's going to be up to stuff, which seems like, oh no, Dimple.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I was starting to like you.
Yeah,
like,
we'll see what happens, you know.
Yeah, but strong start to the first episode, and
animation was great.
Yeah,
especially like when it, you know, that thing where it was like zooming in on Mob and stuff. Like I just don't know how Bones does that. Like that, like those simple shots that just look so good. Yeah, great start, great ending, great opening. Best thing we've seen the past couple of weeks, other than Cyberpunk Edge Runners, like the end of that. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move on to Spy Family.
Spy Family.
What do you think of the opening?
I like this opening a lot. It grew on me. I really really like it.
Mhm.
I bumped Chicken, the same opening that they did for was it March Comes in Like
March
a
Comes
Lion?
in Like a Lion. Very good opening
Yeah.
from Bump Chicken. Yeah, they're really good. I think they also did an ED for March Comes in Like a Lion. Yeah, but this episode was weird because I like read this part in the manga like a couple weeks ago. So it was just
Oh,
like
so you haven't
weird.
read this part like recent? You just read it recently?
Yeah, I just read it recently.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see, Lloyd's got poo-poo problems and so
he's
know.
telling his family like
yeah.
yeah, I really like this episode, and this is like
Yeah.
a nice part of the story. Anya wants a dog, and like the buff dogs that like they first present, which are like flexing and like
And she's like, that dog could beat me up, But Lloyd wants like a protector. Like he's like, oh, maybe a protector wouldn't be bad,
And then yours like freaking out about like losing Anya again. I love the faces she makes and like the
she
top.
loses Anya like every 5 seconds. She's like, oh, Miss Anya.
Yeah.
Like that's so
But we get
funny.
a dog that can read the future. It's like really
Yeah.
interesting.
It is really interesting, and this dog begins to tease some stuff that is like that I think like we talked about in our last Shonen Junk. Go check that out, by the way. We talked about how Spy Family could have one of the best endings or final arcs in manga and anime history if it deviates away from these slice of life. Not saying that these slice of life stuff have been bad, but like it could deviate into something more of like, could you imagine this kind of slice of life series getting like a war arc? Like
I wouldn't say war arc, but like to leading to
Like-
darker stuff because it
Yeah.
deals like in a Cold War premise type.
Yeah.
Could be really nice to see.
I guess like a build up, like a possible like. It's hard to say, like a pre-war arc, a pre-to-war arc, like where everything goes awful, and like Lloyd has to like otherwise this will happen, and this war, like I believe it will probably be how like the actual Cold War happened, where it's like we're gonna go to war, we're gonna go to war until the last second somebody stops it, and it's like like I hope that's what happens,
Really, really nice to see.
Like I would love that moment that we got in Attack on Titan season 4 where like Aaron's running, to that kind of thing, and we're like, oh my god, are they gonna? And then he gets his head cut off, and we're like, no. And then that stuff happens.
You gotta remember,
so,
Endo doesn't like this series too much, so I wouldn't hype this ending so much because just not to get disappointed.
Well, I actually think it might be good for the characters in the story that he has no attachments to the characters, because he might just off one of them.
Oh my god,
that would be crazy.
Oh no, like
that would be crazy.
That'd be the darkest ending to such a happy anime series.
Yeah, man.
Really good, gorgeous animation. Like this is like in terms of animation, as stand out in like high expectations or low expectations we have for Mob Psycho or My Hero Academia. Like this one, I feel like went under the radar because it's just like clean, all the way through. And this story just picks up where it left off. No super strong starts or going back to like your roots, because it just picks off from like where we were.
It just makes me jealous as a My Hero fan, because I'm like, man, these scenes where Anya's just talking about poop and stuff, like it's so well animated, and I felt like My Hero was like that the first 3 seasons, where every scene was so well animated. But then season 5 rolled around, and it feels like that these scenes where Deku's just talking to Uraraka, like it just looks like they just kind of were like, oh, whatever, you know? And I'm like, come on,
just lip
dude.
flaps and that's it. That's
Come on, dude. It's your biggest Bones. It is your biggest IP until like there is rumors that they're gonna pick up One Punch Man, but it's as of right now, it is your biggest IP. So you have to go all out for it. Like every scene needs to be great. Take an extra half year just to make those dialogue scenes great. It's annoying.
No, you're good. Wit and Cloverworks are knocking it out of the park with animation. And this is it's an all around great story. Like we called it before because one, we've kind of read ahead of the manga, and I read all of what this core is going to cover it. So it's gonna in terms of all the stuff happening, maybe Mob Psycho a little, but this one's gonna be more like while everything's like tense and like dramatic stuff might be happening. This one be like, whew, just a bit catch of your breath and nice like fun times
Yeah.
because like it's a really wholesome and there's like a relaxing
But
series.
I want them to get to that part where I'm like,
Ben wants destruction and death.
I
in
don't
the
want
series.
destruction and death. I want there to be a possibility, because it is a Cold War story.
Yeah.
I want there to be possibility of destruction and death. I want there to be a moment where Lloyd has to go AWOL and like Yor has to go against her, and like I want
Ben wants to write the series more than Endo does.
No,
Like,
yeah, maybe. Yeah, Lloyd. I want Lloyd to be at a point where he's like, where everyone is against him.
Yeah.
I want that point to happen, because if that does happen, man, you got a really good gem on your hands.
Yeah.
And of course, Endo could take it in a different direction
Yeah.
and still make it a gem.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, but as of right now, where he's teasing it, like. We got that scene in the first Cour where Anya's like, "Oh no, mommy, don't hurt Papa," and Lloyd's like, "What the like what are you talking about?"
Like,
yeah,
we're
and
on the same side. Like,
yeah, and then in the next couple of episodes, we'll see something that will tease some more stuff in the future. But yeah. It was a really good episode. Yeah, we're eating good, anime fans.
Yeah,
so far,
really good. This is all around great. This is, like I said, not much to say because animation. Very clean. Opening really good. Probably my second favorite, maybe depending on what other openings we listen to. I feel like we should once we listen to a good amount of the rest of them, or Chainsaw Man when that comes out, we should rank them or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
we should.
Which one?
Rank all 2020, 2022 anime openings.
Yeah, probably
that'd be good.
all the openings would be nice. Yeah. Yeah, really good. Moving forward to the last big one.
Yeah.
Blue Lock.
So I feel like this one has been so under the radar. I feel like there's no
It's
hype
slowly
behind
picking
it.
up. It's slowly
I know,
picking
but
up.
like any other, if this came out any other time this year, I feel like bam, everybody would be into it.
That's what I'm saying.
But
Like
it's
it
just under
sucks
the
that
radar.
all of these
Yeah.
are coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
But it is making waves. It is. I feel like it'll grow because it's really man, I never thought, because in terms of sports anime, this one kind of flips the switch because it is anti-friendship, anti-teamwork, it is not like other sports anime.
Yeah.
And it's like a Squid Game locked into only one survivor.
Yeah.
It's not like your high school, we play games and we'll get better. We'll learn new skills. They kind of do that, but it's not like that at all. You know what I mean?
Which makes sense. I feel like I could have some really good insight about this series, especially since
I really look forward to that because soccer really well.
it was really weird to watch. I
Yeah.
was like, I know everything this man is spitting. Whereas Haikyuu, now I'm
cool to know.
Yeah,
you know
now
what I
I'm
mean?
learning volleyball, and I eventually would like to play and stuff like that. But back then, I was like, I had no idea that the guy could go under the net and save it like that. I had no idea. I didn't know what all of this meant. And as they explain it, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But in this one, I'm like, yeah, this man's spitting.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, but also. I really like the dichotomy of it. Let's just jump forward a little bit. I really like Ego's dichotomy of, I really like that. What's the main character's name? Sorry.
Isagi.
Yeah. Isagi, he said stuff like, he's probably not telling the truth, but the fact that Ego has that drive to be you have to be an egoist, you have to be a centrist, because I think Ego-y is just going that far to see what happens, you know. I don't think Ego actually believes all this stuff, because let's be real, soccer is one of the most team-oriented games.
I think they're just trying to do all this just to get one really good
Yes.
striker, because that might be what they're missing in the Japan team.
In
this universe,
in this I thought when I saw the picture of them holding the World Cup, I was like,
wow, you forget that this is real Japan, they're dealing in a.
This was my genuine laugh. I went, I was like, there's no way, I thought
It's like
I
an
thought it was
anime
really
about
funny.
the New York Jets or something.
I don't
the Super Bowl.
I don't even think Japan has won the Asian Cup yet. So I'm a little bit maybe worry about that first, brother.
Yeah.
Get there first. If you can't even be the best in a competition with the best teams as South Korea and Australia, you're not going to go far in the World Cup. I can tell you that. But I thought it was really good. I actually was really kind of disappointed with the with the first animation of the first game that they showed.
I expected a bit more.
Yeah, it was kind of like, in Haikyuu where they're like doing that stuff and they do the crazy shots and stuff
But
like that.
here's the hard thing. What I noticed that made me realize they can't do that, because unlike Haikyuu, they're always moving, but there's certain movements where they have to like slow down, and they kind of like the way Haikyuu does it is like with most anime action scenes would normally do. Like Haikyuu, there's like they start the game, the first set, the catch. There's a thought process to counter block it, pass it. You don't always see them running around, but it flows really well. Soccer, it's like while there are certain patterns and like in ways to like, I don't know how to call it, plan strategies, like with how the players are set, it's kind of all improvisation.
The beautiful game is chaotic. Yeah, like there is a chaos to soccer.
They're always moving.
That's why I love it.
So it's really difficult to like animate that.
I agree with you. To animate the unpredictability of soccer would be so hard.
So it might be a failure on their side by not being able to animate that well. But I also give them like slack because you can't always have them like animated like that.
Let me tell you what I'm thinking of though. Yeah. And I hope they get there. Like the tag game, that was beautifully animated.
Yeah, I like that a lot more.
That was really beautifully animated. Whereas in the game, like Isagi, he did like a little step over, and that's when you go like this with the ball, and then you kind of go.
Seeing
like
that
way,
like in the manga, I'm like, you can do that. Like the little when it's drawn, it looks so clean.
Dude,
like it's so clean.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, I see those moves because if you didn't know, I'm a big Bayern Munich fan. I've seen every Bayern Munich game.
Ben's personality at some point was soccer.
Yeah,
all soccer, like before theater and all that.
Before I wanted to become an actor, I was fully focused on becoming a soccer player. I did trials with LA Galaxy. I did trials with the New York Red Bulls. I didn't get in. I was gonna do a trial with FC Dallas until I decided not to. Because I wanted to be an actor, But those trials, they don't necessarily mean they don't mean anything. They're just kind of like they invite you and you kind of play and they see if they like you. But I was really into soccer until I was like, I kind of just want to be an actor. Yeah. Maybe regretting that decision with how much money I'm making right now.
Ben could be playing the World Cup right now.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
But how cool would you be if you get to voice in like a series like this? Like,
that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Really cool.
But yeah, Isagi, he is, like he does these step overs, and I feel like that it wasn't really well animated. He did these step overs, and the defender kind of went like, Whereas in soccer, the tackles, most of the time they're big, especially if it's a one-on-one thing. The defender has to make a big tackle. Yeah. So if he makes that big tackle, you can see like
when I was playing with you, I got so scared when I saw a defender running at me with them. I would like do my best to get rid of it.
Exactly. But if you'll see in like when you watch as I was saying, I've seen like every Bayern Munich game for the past 12 years. I watch Premier League Saturday. I watch every international game for big tournaments. Even the small ones like the Asian Cup and the African League of Nations, those aren't small, but I like compared to other ones, they're smaller. But like they like their tackle, they could have like stepped their leg over forward, and then they could have done a cool camera angle like that. But he did like a step over and like meg him or something, or they could have done like a little 1-2 pass and animated that cool, But
like I said, it's asking a lot to do these things. And it's the first. That's the only pass I'll give them.
It's the first episode, and I'm sure there are more. From what Edgar and Alec have been sending me, I'm sure there are more games to come in the future.
No, yeah. I was. That's why I love this series so much, because there was a point in my life where soccer was like the thing I hated the most in this world. Because it was such a boring sport to watch as a kid. I didn't get the hype behind it. Everyone was always so like, "Oh, it's called football." No, and like, well, at least that's what I thought.
You can call it soccer. It doesn't matter.
No, I know, but I'll be okay with it to call it football. But like back then, I'm like, this is stupid. Can you just stop it? Like that's what I used to think. But I was reading this, I'm like, I want to play so bad because of how much I love.
I took you to some of my scrimmage games. Yeah.
You're like, hey, it's like, have you heard of this manga series called Blue Lock? It's about soccer. You're like, what? You like soccer? Like what?
Yeah. I was like, what do you? I was like, Edgar, you don't, because all the times I talked with Edgar, I was like, you don't like soccer, so you don't like this series. And I was like, hey man, like some of my friends, like during lockdown, we wanted to do something to keep us active. And so we started playing a lot together, and there was a nice field because one of my friends was a teacher at that place. And I was like, Edgar, why don't you come along? And we would play every week. Really, really great time.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. But yeah, like that was really good. It was really fascinating to hear them like talk about players and stuff like that. Like they talk about a fake player called I don't know, he plays for the French national team, and they gave a fake quote. In the manga, they quote as Eric Cantona. They quote him, the Manchester United player. They quote him as like the greatest player of the 21st century. And I texted Edgar and I was like, "What is this?" I was like, "He isn't like or the 20th century or something." I was like, "He's not the greatest player of the 20th century. That is absurd."
Who do you think is then? I have no idea. Like
it's up in the air. It depends on like for me. The greatest player of the 20th century is Goodmiller because he was German. He brought the German game. He's the greatest striker of all time.
But why do you think they would call why they would think Eric Cantona is? What are his feats? Like
he won a World Cup with France, I believe, and I believe he won a treble with Manchester United. So that is a big feat in itself. But to say that he is the greatest player of all time without doing any of the big feats that like he doesn't do.
Well, it's 20th century, like so.
20th century.
So maybe
yeah. I think that that's just a very enclosed way. But also, people like Maradona played in the 20th century. People like Pele played in the 20th century.
I don't know who these
the
people
20th century. You know who.
But
you know who Maradona is. He's the guy.
I don't know. I have no idea.
He's the guy who scored the goal with his hand, the hand of God. Okay. Anyway,
literally, like you're the guy for this because like I have no. I know Messi, Ronaldo. That's it.
Yeah, but I mean to call him the 20th century, the greatest player of the 20th century, is a bold claim, and I mean, I'm sure a lot of Manchester United fans think he is. Also, Manchester United has a very big audience in the Asian market, so maybe that is why a lot of Asian players are like, "Oh, Eric Cantona is the greatest player of all time," you know.
Yeah.
But as somebody who is, I have a huge German and Bayern Munich bias. For me, the greatest players of the 20th century are Franz Beckenbauer.
Whoa, of course, because he's a German fan.
Exactly. But I mean,
so like
in terms of when you're looking outward, there are also players like Johan Cruyff. If you're looking in the Premier League, there's so many, different players. Like you can even like shout out players who like barely played in the 20th century, like Wayne Rooney. Like if they started there, you can point that out. But I mean, Zinedine Zidane is a better shout. Like I would have been more okay with that. Yeah. But yeah, I think he is a brilliant player who has achieved a lot. He's not the greatest player of the 20th century. But enough soccer talk. Let's go back to our soccer anime talk.
Yeah, enough soccer. Let's talk about soccer.
So yeah, just the idea of it was really good because soccer is very different from most sports. Soccer, in where soccer is the greatest, and that was kind of a quote in this, was that defenders, midfielders, goalkeepers, they are made, they are created. Strikers, they're born with it. Like greatest strikers of all time, Lewandowski, Goodmiller, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, the original Brazilian Ronaldo. These players, they were born with that instinct to score goals, to find the right pockets of space, to be there, to finish it, to put that ball in the back of the net. There is nothing they like more.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with that. That's what makes this so interesting. And what's also interesting about it is that soccer players, they are built up from the ground up. Like there are under 10s, under 11s who are training right now for specific teams, for Bayern Munich.
I was like
Barcelona.
twiddling my thumbs at 10.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, but also that's a failure on the American buildup. This is why America will always fall behind, is because they take players from college or they take players like from late high school. Whereas in Germany, like one of my favorite players, Thomas Muller, he's been playing for Bayern Munich since he was 9 years old. And he's been training with them since then. He's now 33. He's won 2 trebles. He's won a World Cup. And it's because they built him from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Mexico even does this. Why the United States doesn't want to do it?
Well,
like
soccer, that's why we call it soccer, because it's not a thing here. No one cares about it here.
Well, but
for a general part.
But they do it for the women, for the women's soccer team
No, yeah.
have that build up. Like they're brilliant, you know.
Yeah, it's like where the men
Yeah.
where they don't dominate, they're more popular. Women's
Yeah.
soccer team way popular than the men,
Yeah.
and so does like the volleyball, like in general,
Yeah.
you know. Like
That's why I just really liked the moment where he was like, where that one kid was like, hey, actually, we have high school games and all that stuff. You should, if you want to be a soccer player, if somebody gives you the opportunity to go to Europe, somebody gives you the opportunity to forget the high school and go play for your national
someone want to
team,
lock you in a building with 499 other
Yeah.
players and without seeing your family for weeks, go there.
well,
like,
and a chance to play for the national
No,
team.
yeah.
Or a chance to even, like, if a professional team comes up to you and goes, we'll give you this absurd contract and you can play with professionals, get better and better at a young age. You don't go, but I made it to nationals in my high school. No, you idiot. You know, like, this isn't like any other sport. And that's why I loved when Ego said, if you want to be the best high school in this backwater, you know, country for soccer, go ahead, go do it. But I'm giving you a chance to play with the best of the best and be the best striker on the planet. And that's how soccer is different from everywhere else. American football, they take from the colleges, you know, which take from the high schools. So it's like, that is very ingrained in school. Soccer isn't ingrained in school.
Yeah.
Like, these players, they learn from and play from a very, very young age. Yeah, they go to school, but they probably drop out in high school because there's no reason to go to college.
Yeah.
You know? So this is kind of Ego going, I'm going to do what Europe does, but in a more intense, you know, fashion.
Yeah.
Because these players, they're already
Great.
older. They're already great.
Yeah.
But they're already older than the under 9s. the
there's like a
under
big
10s.
filtering system to find that perfect pearl.
Yeah. Like, you can, let me pull up some videos of Messi as a little kid. You know, like, he was playing for Barcelona when he was 8 years old and he was already brilliant. Like, he's born with that talent, you know? So I think that this is like really well thought out series.
Yeah. It's really good.
And really good, like, character decisions for Isagi to go like, no, I have to beat somebody who's better than me.
Yeah.
You know?
I forgot how much I love Bachida, the one who was sleeping at the beginning.
Yeah.
He kinda, like,
His
kicks-
smile is creepy.
Yeah, his eyes. I love the eye designs, and I'm glad they nailed the color whenever they move, because in the manga it goes crazy.
There's some stuff. I know he was an editor or an assistant for Attack on Titan. There's some stuff that make me be like, some of the storytelling of this is so Attack on Titan to me. Like,
the biggest telltale for me was that Ego looks like Yelena, like a male version of Yelena,
Yeah, he does.
especially with how skinny and like the
Yeah.
poses he does, like and how tall he is. It's just, I really like the way he just like acts, because like it's all really great. I love Bachida, and you get introduced to Kunigami, which is like a Bakugo Ichigo blend mesh together.
and he's buff. He's
Yeah.
like ginormous.
Yeah.
He was like, watch where you're watch where you're walking, and he was like, huh? And he was,
I
like,
love
speaking.
I love when he gets hit in the
Yeah.
face. Like I love and I forget what the name is for the other guy. He kind of looks like Rock Lee from Naruto, like the big eye, the bug eye guy.
Oh yeah. I don't know, I
He
don't
was
know.
cool. I love the anime. My only gripe with the anime is that it cut out a lot of lines from the manga.
Yeah, you were talking about
and
this.
it felt like the pacing was a bit too fast. They cut out the scenes between Ego and that one chick.
Do you think maybe they'll start off the next episode with that?
I really hope, because like, look, this is like the first volume of Holding Ben. Look where the first episode ended. Like, this is the first episode.
Yeah.
It already bled through the entire first volume already.
It's really fast.
And and I felt like it could have taken a bit more time in terms of like animation and like adding stuff between the games, which I really hope to do. And I hope that the stuff they blatantly cut out, I hope they add later, because that kind of stuff is important between Ego and like what the point of this is, and like what his view is on soccer and what he feels about the national team. Either way, but the tag team, like the tag football with this was absolutely great. I really liked it, and like
really
and
good.
like the countdown between like trying to get hit, the poor guy, he got sucker hit in the face. But it's all really great. I love how like Bachida's like there's no fouls or whatever. All you need to do is use
His
hands.
win, yeah.
Yeah, they don't use your hands. So he's like kicking. I love when he kicks towards a Kunigami. Like he's like, what are you? He's like they're like bouncing off the walls. It's like so great. I really like the series. I'm really looking forward to it. Even though I read the manga, I feel like this is the one I'm kind of looking most forward to, other than Chainsaw Man, because I want to see how it plays out.
This one's my second favorite we've seen so far. Yeah. And that's not even like, I think all of these have been good, but probably third is My Hero and fourth is Spy Family, just because it's like they're all good. But so like choosing them is like really hard. But I think like this, I was really happy and excited with.
Yeah.
I also love how oblivious the parents are. By the way, they had a little.
Oh,
thing
isn't
at
that
the
great?
end.
It's like
They're like, we don't know what this means, but good job, sweetie.
Yeah.
And he's like, and they're living in the real world. Like, oh, I gotta go to work tomorrow. It's great.
Yeah. But I really hope this hype, the fan base, it grows. But I know it's already hitting new waves, because like I see like reactors that don't react to sports anime other than Haikyuu, because you know how big Haikyuu is. Yeah. But like immediately, like within like a few days, they're reacting to this, because that's how big this is. This
did give me very much Haikyuu vibes.
Yeah, I hope it keeps getting bigger and bigger, and people pay attention to this series and read the manga. It is great. Go read the manga if you haven't. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Even if you don't like this and Haikyuu are the perfect introduction to sports animes. If you're not. And because it's just that
I feel
good.
like this one's just such a twist on it as well.
Because
it's it's outside of high school.
Yeah, outside of high school, it's like no team. It's not just playing games. It's like
it's really crazy to hear like an anime be like, no, high school doesn't matter, because so many animes are like, high school is like the main crux of my story.
Haikyuu is like, we're all about friendship and teamwork. Blue Lock, we don't do that here.
Yeah, but it just shows the difference dichotomy. Like the Olympics team, the highest players from volleyball in the Japanese Olympics, they take from the high schools, So if they did take from the high schools in Japan, that would be the main court, but they don't. Like the best players come up from academies, So at a very young age.
Really looking forward to this. I really like the series, and I can't wait for the next episode. And the only one we haven't talked about is obviously Chainsaw Man. We'll be talking about that next week, and we can't wait for that one.
Well, Edgar, I have a question for you, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tuesday night, what are you doing?
Nothing. I'm free. I don't work Tuesday nights.
You don't work Tuesday nights?
No, I don't.
Would you like to do the Manga Monday Show's first ever live stream, a discussion for Chainsaw Man?
Ben, are you asking me on a date? I'm just kidding.
I am. A live stream date.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think that'd be great. Just to do like a nice little discussion. You guys can join us on there. We will be live at 7 p.m. Central Time. That's our time.
Yeah.
We'll be on at 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you want to, I'll make a whole post about it and all that stuff. So if you want to join us on there, and if it does really well, and if we have a lot of fun, we might do it every week. Just going to be 40 minutes to an hour, where we talk about Chainsaw Man. I'm going to download the episode so that we can go to the point that we're talking about. We can go on there and we can just like see the picture of it and stuff like that, so that we don't get copyrighted. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, and that means I got a lot of testing to do. Make sure
and we'll still talk about the anime in the next Manga Monday Show episode.
Yes,
because this is gonna be a lot. This is like the number one most look forward to anime of the season and of the year. It's just that big. Like
1 billion%. So yeah, I mean there are countdowns going on all around the world for this thing. So we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for watching. Edgar, do you have anything else that you'd like to talk about?
Nothing much other than look forward to that live stream that's coming out soon. If you're listening to it, either way, it'll be on our YouTube channel. If you didn't catch it live, we'll probably could have posted on the YouTube channel for that.
It will be posted immediately after on the YouTube, and it'll have its own playlist for live streams and all that junk.
But look forward to like the next few episodes. If I don't know how accurate or how frequent we'll be talking about each episode, but we're going to be talking about all the episodes, especially the big ones that like when they have their big moments, because like all these stories are fantastic. Not only that, but we'll always have news coming towards you, and we'll be talking about stuff that is not just anime and manga, but that's also hitting the pop culture zeitgeist, like House of Dragon, or whenever we catch up to that. Because
Black Panther's coming out next month,
Black Panther, we'll watch that
on my birthday. Woo!
you want to go see it on your birthday?
Yeah, let's go see it on my birthday.
Yeah, why not? Like, but we'll be just talking
maybe
about
the day after. I don't. What if it's bad? I don't want it to
What if
ruin
it's
my
bad?
birthday.
I know.
Yeah.
I always remember that one time on my birthday when we went to see Black Panther 2 and we were disappointed.
Disappointing.
No, yeah, but
man.
we'll always be talking about stuff nonstop, and we'll bring you this content to look forward to every week, and we hope you enjoy it. We got big stuff still incoming for Shonen Junk, so always look forward to that on the YouTube channels. Go subscribe to that if you haven't. Follow us on the podcast apps wherever you listen to, as well on YouTube.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys in the next week, the next episode on the Manga Monday Show.
Peace.
Bye.